What's up guys, my name is Ace, and a couple days ago we got a pretty big patch that fixed a bunch of bugs, as well as had some weapon balancing, which I covered in great detail in yesterday's video. You can't trust the patch notes for this one, because in many cases the patch notes are just completely inaccurate. So if you did miss yesterday's video, I highly recommend that you check that out. Today though, I wanted to cover a few changes that weren't mentioned at all in the patch notes that I didn't discover before yesterday's video, but they are now surfacing within the community. And I also want to address a few things that some people are really convinced changed, but they didn't actually change with this update. So first up, let's just quickly dispel some of the things that some people are convinced were changed. There was a rumor floating around the community that the aim assist settings have completely changed, so the different aim assist settings like focusing or precision. According to some people, they completely changed and they behave completely differently now. With this one, I did do the testing just like I did when the game first launched, and nothing is different in this area, so that didn't actually change. So if you have heard that rumor, it's not true. Additionally, I have also been seeing another rumor that they actually increased the amount of health you have in hardcore modes from 30 up to 40. And again, this just isn't true at all. You can see in this game here, I used the AK-47 and I was purposely shooting towards the legs because the leg damage on that is 35. And therefore, if the health had increased to 40, then I would be consistently getting 2-shot kills unless the enemy was already hurt. And that just wasn't the case throughout this game. I was getting very consistent 1-shot kills. So no, the health did not change in hardcore modes. Now, let's get into the good stuff, the stuff that actually changed with this update that wasn't mentioned at all. First off, the Striker 45 with the hollow point rounds, that's where it turns it to a 2-round burst. This had a few of its damage values adjusted, and these minor changes to damage values actually have a huge impact on the performance of this gun, and it is significantly better now. Pre-patch with these hollow point rounds, we had a full torso multiplier zone, so stomach and chest, and with this it would deal 48 damage up close, then 34 at mid-range and 24 at longer ranges. Now, post-patch, they've adjusted that to an upper torso and shoulder multiplier, so you do have to be a bit more precise. However, they've also increased those damage ranges the perfect amount, so up close you now deal 50 damage per shot, mid-range is 35 damage per shot, and longer ranges is 25 damage per shot. The important thing here is obviously that close quarters situation, because with this being a 2-round burst, now you can get a 1-burst kill to the upper torso or shoulders within 25 meters, which is a very good range for an SMG. So now you can just get these super quick 1-burst kills, and your time to kill value when doing this is just 117 milliseconds, which is ridiculously fast. This is almost twice as fast as the average time to kill in this game. So if you haven't given the Striker 45 with hollow point rounds a go since this last update, try it out, and if you're an accurate player, I think you're gonna love it. Just make sure you're aiming for that upper torso area, and you will be getting those nice, clean 1-burst kills fairly frequently, which is awesome. Next up, something that was fixed in this update that wasn't mentioned for whatever reason in the patch notes is they have now fixed the Solo Zero MVG thermal sight. Pre-patch, this wouldn't work through smoke grenades. Now it does work through smoke as it was intended to. This was a bug that I believe just popped up with the Season 2 update. Maybe it's always been like this. I don't really know. I don't use thermal sights all that often. But in either case, it is fixed now. This will work through smoke grenades. Another thing that I don't believe was mentioned in the patch notes, but you will actually see this in-game when you open up the operators menu, and I feel it is important to point out for those that haven't seen it yet. The operator challenges and the operator missions have now moved into the operator screen, and they're no longer in the missions tab. This is significant for a couple reasons. First off, I think it's just a much better way to look at which skins are available to earn for each one of the operators. It's really nice to just go into that operator and hit the personalize button, and you can see which ones you are capable of unlocking as well as what you need to do to unlock it. But also, now those missions are always active as long as you're using the appropriate operator to complete those missions. You don't have to go into the missions tab and activate that particular mission and work your way through it. You just have to be using that operator. So now you can unlock operators while also working on other missions that are non-operator related. And I think this is actually a really nice change for the people that like grinding through that stuff and grinding for the different operator skins. On that same topic, a really minor change. In the missions tab, they now sort them a little bit different. So instead of your completed missions being at the top of the list, so you have to scroll through all your completed ones to see your non-completed ones, it now puts your completed missions towards the bottom of the list, which is how it should be. On that same note, just a little bit of feedback. I would love it if they did a similar thing with rearranging your combat record. So when you're looking at your weapons, for instance, As it is right now, they don't sort your guns by how many kills you have with them. So like the gun you have the most kills with being at the top, that would just make sense. As it is right now, it seems like they just follow a certain order regardless of how many kills you have with that gun, which just makes things a little bit confusing, but that's more so just a piece of feedback, not something that actually changed. Now finally, one last really important thing that once again wasn't mentioned in the patch notes for some reason. With the spotter perk, you can now hack equipment through walls. This is something that they mentioned in the Season 2 update. They mentioned that this would be coming in the future, but like I said, they didn't actually mention it in the patch notes when they did fix this. This is quite a big deal, and I would call it a significant buff to the spotter perk, because now if you have that claymore that's really well placed on the other side of a wall where you can't actually get a line of sight on it without triggering it, if you're using spotter, you can just hack it through a wall. And this makes the spotter perk a much more attractive option for people that like being aggressive and getting in towards enemy camping locations. This is also going to make it so much easier to complete any challenges related to hacking equipment because you're just so much more versatile now with that hack. On top of this, I could be mistaken since I can't seem to dig up any pre-patch footage of hacking, but it seems like the hacking process is also sped up just a little bit. It seems like you can hack equipment just slightly faster than you could in the past. I can't 100% confirm this because like I said, I just don't have any pre-patch footage, but to me at least, it definitely appears to be faster. Maybe somebody that's hacked a lot of equipment in the past can confirm or deny that. But yeah, it definitely seems to be faster. And with that, that pretty much covers it for everything I wanted to mention in today's video. And this is yet another situation that just shows that there is something going on at the studio. I don't know what's going on with their communication internally or what their process is for creating these patch notes. But it seems like these days their patch notes need patch notes because they're just leaving out some very important things. And many of the things that are contained within the patch notes are just completely inaccurate anyways. It still kind of blows my mind that these are the kind of patch notes that we're getting from one of the biggest gaming franchises in history. I've said this before and I'll say it again, any change at all that has any impact on gameplay should 100% be listed and listed accurately within the patch notes. This isn't some indie game, these aren't amateur developers, this is a AAA studio making one of the biggest games of the year. You would think they would have better systems in place for accurate reporting for patch notes. And I really hope they wake up here and make some changes internally to make sure that the patch notes are accurate and they actually contain everything that changed. Of course though, that's just my thoughts on this matter. I do get a little bit frustrated, but I guess at the same time it's good for me that they're inaccurate because it forces all of you guys to come to me if you guys want to see what actually changed. It's just frustrating that they can't seem to get this right. But with that, I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about these stealth changes that were made with this recent patch? Also, are there any other stealth changes that you think I missed with this video that they made with this most recent update that weren't mentioned in the patch notes? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.